Good morning, guys, and welcome to the podcast. I've got a fantastic guest for you today, Evan Pulling, coming to us from Arizona. He's founder and CEO of Biz Retire, which is a business for sale listing platform that aims to connect aspiring and retiring entrepreneur. And his aim is to be the number one platform preferred by business owners. So I'm really happy to have him on to discuss what Biz Retire is. And Evan's spouse is also a doctor. He knows the audience we're talking to, their needs, their wants, their aspirations, and really happy to have him on the show. So, Evan, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Lou, for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we love it on the podcast because we're very informal. So just call me Chris, and
Okay.
yeah, just talk about your background and your story, how you got started, and we'll dive right into the conversation.
Yeah, so my background is a little unorthodox. I've been around all over the place. I was a combat medic in the Ohio Army National Guard. I have a degree in accounting and financial economics. And for a long time, for about 10 years, I was a contractor for various financial institutions doing financial crimes investigations. So looking through the books of people's finances and through the books of businesses, trying to make sure that they were doing legal activity versus illegal activity. And yeah, recently just started, I say recently, I've been a year in the making, but founded my company called bizretire.com. And that was actually came from an inquiry. I was looking to buy my wife a medical practice for her to have her own medical practice. And talking with business brokers and trying to get the information from the sellers. And that whole buying process of the medical practice was really it was really infuriating. And so I said to myself, there has to be an easier way to do this. And so I asked myself, why would anybody ever use a business broker, which is like a real estate agent for businesses? And so I had to list out all the pros to a business owner. And there's the online marketplaces and all the pros for online marketplaces, and then all the cons. And so I tried to create a platform that had all the pros and none of the cons. And so that's where I'm at today.
Mm, Interesting. So you touched on your motivations for creating Biz Retire. How do you see it as a game changer in the business for sale marketplace? What are the unique selling points?
Yeah, that's a great question. So business brokers are like a middleman in the transaction. And when you think about a business broker, they list a business on for sale, and they might have 100 buyers interested in that business. So that business broker is talking to hundreds of buyers. They have questions. And so all those questions go to the business broker. They have to go back to the owner. The owner has to come back to the business broker, and the business broker has to answer questions. That's just one listing, right? Some brokers have 10, 15 listings. And as you can imagine, this really slows the interaction between buyer and seller, and it makes it very slow. On average, business brokers only sell 20% of the businesses that they list, and it takes over 16 months, which is crazy. And on the other side, public listing places like bizbuysell.com, they have 200,000 buyers, free buyer accounts, which sounds great when you're trying to sell a business, but imagine being a really busy business owner and then you list your business for sale, and all of a sudden you got 10,000 emails, people trying to buy your business. It's just too much for them to handle. And that's why typically people go with brokers. But BizRetire, what it does is it filters out the buyers that the business brokers would typically filter out. So BizRetire, you have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, which protects the privacy of the owner. All the listings are private, meaning you can't publicly search the listings. And all the buyers have to pay to see the listings of the buyer, which means you're gonna have less tire kickers and people wasting the time of the business owner. So only serious buyers will be there. And so that's a huge differentiator between us and business brokers and the online marketplace.
Interesting. And it sounds when you talk about it, it sounds like these platforms like Airbnb is matching homeowners and people looking to rent a place, and like Uber and Lyft are matching people looking for a ride, and DoorDash. So it's interesting. So it's really interesting because I can see this works. You have a lot of scale because you've got this platform. The next question I have for you is because you mentioned sometimes just this whole barrage and this kind of, but then you have like people that are more bought in. What other challenges do business owners face when selling through traditional brokers, and how does BizRetire address these issues?
Yeah, business brokers, there's a lot of challenges, just the back and forth. Commissions are huge, 10, 15% commissions. And so imagine working for 40 years, you sell $1 million business, and now you owe the broker $150,000. And a lot of times they just list the business on a website and then they field questions from buyers. There is an advisory piece of that for business brokers where they'll help walk them through like the LOI, letter of intent, and all these different financial documents and getting the documents ready and giving them like an evaluation summary. And so you do some back end financial work to get business owners ready. But with the advent of free information online, we have all these courses and gurus, and now we have AI. I can literally type in AI, like how to sell a business, what documents I need, and it'll pop out 30 documents. Show me a mock-up letter of intent, and then boom, there it is. And so I think business owners, but in general, they help guide the business owner through the process. And for some business owners, the kind of the hands-off approach is what they're looking for and might be the best solution for them. For more do-it-yourself type business owners, I would say a platform like mine might be a better option for them.
Follow-up question I have for you is with how to use the platform economics, like how does Biz Retire make profit, and talk about how you plan to grow and scale Biz Retire.
Yeah, that's great. So there is a listing fee on the seller side. And so there's a monthly, semi-annual, and annual fee that sellers can pay in order to list their business on there. Currently, I'm still in that startup where getting the word out there. And so I'm doing like some 90-day free trials to attract sellers in there. But on the buyer side, it's a little bit more of a steep cost. I think the monthly, I have it set at 150. And then depending on the more time you buy with the platform, the cheaper it is on monthly increments. And the idea is really to monetize the buyer side. Eventually, I would love it to where it's almost practically free on the seller side. And all the competition charges the seller, where I would be monetizing the buyer. And there's been a lot of pressure, not a lot of pressure, a lot of shift in the marketplace from influencers like Cody Sanchez, talks about buying businesses and selling businesses, Alex Hormozy, things like this. And there's actually a lot more demand as a buyer on the market today than there are sellers available. And so I think that will really, for longevity of the platform. But also on one end, I'm also trying to platform, I'm actually working out a deal as we speak with an equity ownership with another company that does financial analysis for business owners. So getting business owners ready to exit and then having exit evaluations on top of the Biz Retire platform, hopefully in the next year or so.
Interesting. And because you mentioned buyer advantages, and so from buyer's perspective, what makes Biz Retire's approach more efficient and attractive than the public business for sale platforms?
Yeah, that's a great question. So imagine, so BizBuy sells one of our competitors. They have 200,000 members, buyer members, free account. Anybody can create an account. The thing is, when you have a private equity firm and they're looking to buy businesses, or someone who's bought tons of businesses, they know what a good deal is. They know what it looks like. They know how to execute on a good deal really quickly. And so for anyone that is a small fish in the sea, per se, they're really going to struggle finding good deals and locking those deals in quickly because they're going to get off the platform really quick. Biz Retire is non-public, so what happens is you're paying for access to it. So there's going to be less competition on our platform. And we really try to get the business owners that are not on the market. So it's like off-market deals on an on-market type platform. And for buyers, that's really attractive because you can spend thousands of hours and dollars trying to find off-market deals.
Another question I have for you is future of business selling, and where do you see the business buying market heading, and how is Biz Retire adapting to future trends in online business transactions?
Yeah, I think earlier when I was talking about AI taking things over, I feel like bad and mediocre business brokers will eventually cease to exist. There will be no use for them. It'll
Yes.
only be for the really superb business brokers that stand the test of time. Brokers have been around for 300, 400 years. They've been around for a long time. And it's like Blockbuster. And I hope to be like the Netflix of business buying. The Blockbuster version is you have to meet with somebody, you have to talk to them, you have this guy or gal in the middle. You have this archaic old way of thinking about selling and buying business. And there's nothing wrong with it. It works and it's still good. But I'm hoping Biz Retire will be the one-stop shop that really is, like I said, the Netflix. You just click, it's easy. You go in there as a seller, you hook up your financials to the platform, it analyzes the exit strategy. we prepare like a loan package for the buyer, take that loan package, we prepare to the bank, gives the financing to the buyer, buys from the business owner. Super easy, super connected, streamlined process. And then eventually maybe have an advisor and that kind of thing to help the business owners through the process. But it's the goal. We'll see if that actually comes true though.
Yeah. It's interesting because with this, I follow in a lot of industries. I just like to see where the world is headed. And for example, you saw the internet destroy the concept of a stock. There's no stockbrokers anymore. It's all algos and algorithms and trading. And then Robinhood basically took the stockbrokers out of commission. And then
Yeah.
yeah, and then you look at the NAR settlement with like realtors and like real estate agents. And I was talking to my wife about this. I think the next wave of job disruption is going to be in the real estate agents, like just basically disintermediating those guys. And then AI robots like the Waymos and the Teslas are going to take out bus drivers, truck drivers, Uber, Lyft driver, DoorDash drivers. And so it's just basically cutting out all of this excess waste and just making things more streamlined. And I think business buying, especially real estate buying, these things are so antiquated. Healthcare is antiquated. So it's really interesting. And then the next question I have for you is AI. And how are you, because you touched upon it, but expand upon how you're looking at AI and the potential use cases for AI in Biz Retire.
Yeah, it would be awesome to have a chatbot advisor that business owners could pay, like, or it's part of their subscription fee. And it's like, how do I know if I have a good buyer? Or how do I write this legal document? Or can you write this for me? Or like that. And there's a lot of potential to train your own language models. There's a lot out there. I think we're a little far away because business buying is a little bit less cut and dry than, let's say, like a real estate transaction, which is still, there's a lot of nuance there as well. But yeah, I think there's just a lot of potential. I think brokers are on their way out eventually. And a lot of people, so you see like my competitors, bizbuysell.com, there's BizScout, 80% of their listings are listed by business brokers. So that's 80% of their business model. And so they're not really preparing themselves for this new wave, this new era of buying and selling businesses. And so I think AI will change the way that things are bought and sold.
Hmm. Yeah. And again, I was talking to another guest and we were contemplating the future. And she was saying that the next person that comes up with this kind of platform that matches buyers and sellers is going to, especially with real estate and with businesses, could be the next platform economy, Uber, Lyft, or Airbnb, like these types of, it's going to be really interesting to see how people adapt to these changes. With that adaptation, you have the winners, but you also have the losers too. Yeah. Really interesting. And I know we have around 2, 3 minutes. And just so talk about how can people find you, find out more about Biz Retire, connect with you, reach out to you, and learn more about the fantastic work that you're doing.
Yeah, bizretire.com is a great place to start. Check out what we got going on there. My LinkedIn is really the best place to get a hold of me. And I check that every day. So just Evan Poling, Poling on LinkedIn, and send me a connection request and let's chat.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this conversation. Keep up the great work. And it was a fascinating conversation around the future of business buying and selling.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Chris. Take care. Bye, everyone.